Alright, what you see here is a Hunter Oakhurst ceiling fan. This is a fan I picked up off of Facebook Marketplace for pretty cheap. It's the used one, not the brand new in the box one, but it's literally the same thing. If anything, it's actually a little bit older, so that's actually a better thing, since I'm giving this one to my aunt instead. The reason why I'm giving her this one because it's a little bit older than the one I got, so that definitely makes it a little bit better. Now, these fans are known for being extremely slow. However, that's with the newer ones, not an earlier version like this, when they first came out. This one is from the 45th week of 2008, and 2008 was the first year they sold these at Home Depot. The difference between this and the more recent type that they had before they changed the switch housing to the newer style is that it has both pull chains on the sides. Whereas the ones that they had that were known to be the slower ones have the white chain in the center, not on a side like this. And with that being said, that makes this one more powerful. This is before they started making the Home Depot Hunter models to be more slow and such. This one isn't extremely fast regardless, but it does push a pretty good amount of air for the speed that it goes at. So I'd say that it's a bit slower than my low profile plus in the kitchen. It's almost the same speed, but just a tiny bit slower. But I've always liked the look of these fans. I wish that the newer ones were at least as fast as this one, not extremely sluggish and such. But I do think they're nice looking fans, it's just that the newer ones are way too slow. And I also bought these pull chains for it at Home Depot because the cold springs in my aunt's kitchen has one of the pull chains that's very similar to these. It has like a flower design on it. It's also falling apart and such. And the other one doesn't. It's just like a extension pull from the Harbor Breeze one, I think. So I figured I'd get two matching ones, since I know she likes stuff like this, stuff that has this look to it. Like, it literally looks just like the older one that she has on the Coastal Breeze. So I figured it'd be kind of neat to have a newer version of them on it. Now, she is okay with it just having 3 lights instead of 4. I'm using the original bulbs that came in it. She likes incandescent more than LED, only, well, the plastic type LEDs, due to the fact that when you turn on the light, kind of the glare that they cause bothers her eyes a bit since she doesn't have the best eyesight. Which I know is definitely a case for some people. These might actually be the original bulbs that came with it too. I wouldn't be surprised. Because the fan view doesn't look like it was used that much. And I did have the white blades facing down, but since I'm installing it in her kitchen with the white oak blades facing down, I'm just going to show it like that. You know, obviously when I test it, I don't want to show it with both sides. But I mean, this is also like around the time that Hunter started introducing these surfboard type blades as well. And they still use them to this day. I show off the lighting around me. Definitely gives off a good amount of lighting. I mean, probably give off just a tiny bit more if it had 4 lights, but they're really not that big of a difference if you use a fan of 3 or 4 lights, in all honesty. Some people will be like, oh, it has 4, so it's a better one. It's really not that big of a difference. So, I mean, you could always use brighter bulbs, and it would probably do the same amount as with 4. At the same time, I feel like 4 is a bit too much. I mean, even in the kitchen here, it's a bit much. But since that's the light that it came with on the low profile plus in the kitchen, I'd rather leave it. But I actually kind of prefer 3 lights just because it's just enough, but it's not overbearing. 4 lights are a bit overbearing for me and such. But yeah, it's definitely a nice fan, and there's the older Hunter logo. And that's the other thing, the newer ones were slower. It was like they started to change the logos on them as well. So if it's like this with the chains on both of the chains on the sides and it has the older logo, then it's definitely a better performing Oakhurst. So without further ado, let me go ahead and start off on the low speed. But But yeah, since her kitchen's very low profile, I figured this would be the best fan to put there. She told me that she doesn't need a fan to be extremely powerful. Just something that moves some air. This will definitely do that without a question. At first I was thinking about getting a newer one, but I figured that'd be a pretty bad downgrade from the Coastal Breeze. And even though the Coastal Breeze fan isn't the best air mover as it is, since they were just a budget model from Hunter back in the day, I figured I'd just give her something from Hunter that's at least a decent one. Could have given her something more vintage, but this one literally would do what she would need it to do in the kitchen. But yeah, literally the newer ones, this is like the medium speed on the newer Oakhurst and the Oakhurst 2. Now I feel like if you were to put an older switch housing like this type on the newer one, or just swap the capacitors off, it would go faster. In a sense, I actually do like how the newer Oakhurst look. Obviously I like this version better. But they actually don't look too bad in my opinion compared to other redesigned Hunter fans. I mean, it's nice and quiet. I do like the motor housing on this quite a bit. It's the same type that you see on the 4200 low profiles, the Home Depot versions. And the fact is, this is kind of like the same. The motor housing and everything on it is almost the same size. Even the motor is almost the same size as the 42-inch one, which might be the other reason why these aren't the fastest fan. But I feel like it's more the capacitor values. I do know back in the 2000s era, the Hunter's 42-inch fans, they did have pretty big motors in them. But I mean, yeah, even the motor housing on this is literally the same size as those other ones. I really think it would be cool if this could be a 4-blade fan. But you only wish for so much. Heck, I even thought about this would have been even a good fan to put in my grandmother's kitchen instead of the Hampton Bay Hugger. Obviously, the Hampton Bay Hugger matches the kitchen better, but I think this would have looked nicer. Actually, no, I feel like this would have matched better. It's because it has like an older look. It's just a few stainless steel stuff there. But since that house is probably going to be getting sold at some point in the future, it's not like it's not like she was going to live there that much longer, since now she's with my dad due to her memory not being the best and can't be living alone anymore. So yeah, this coming year you'll definitely be seeing an update with what will happen with the fans here, including the Bahama. Alright, not for medium. Like I said, I do really like the shades though on this too. I forgot to mention it. It's not just a plain looking shade, it has like a unique design to it. Something that you don't see too much on ceiling fans anymore recently compared to like back then. But yeah, this is really like the high speed on the newer Oakhurst. Now this one did come with Hunter pole chains, but I'm just actually going to keep those since I figured I can get some use out of them. Plus I feel like they would get very dirty looking in my aunt's kitchen. Whereas these pole chains would definitely be easier to clean and won't look so yellowed over time. It is moving some decent air medium though. Not as much as I'd hope, considering it's a hunter, but still, it's not bad. It's definitely a decent fan that Home Depot sold back then before the quality from both Hunter and Hampton Bay really took a dive. But yeah, since this is also like around the time that Hampton Bay and Hunter was starting to go downhill, this is like back when it was like in the in between session of like the quality decreasing and such. But yeah, I really try not to test fans that I get right away. You know, like I try to test stuff that I've had for a bit, like if I got this a few months ago type thing. But since this is not gonna be mine, I'm giving it to my aunt. I think I just get a video out of it quickly, and to see how it runs. But it definitely runs well, without a question. See, like I definitely would put something that's more powerful. But is this the other thing is that the ceiling's pretty low. So like I feel like something that went any more faster than this would actually be kind of a safety hazard. So that's the other reason why I figured I'd put something that's I know would be a little bit slower, but still move some good air for what she needs it for. Plus, it's not really one that likes heavy air movement in general. Alright, and here it is on the high speed. And I definitely gotta say, it's not the sluggish hunters, but it's not like the pretty fast hunters from like the early 2000s and such. It's at the same time though, the low profile fans were never really the fastest fans, like going into the 2000s, or more so the Home Depot ones. But as you can see, it's not a very slow one like the newer ones. Now, had the newer ones that are being sold today been like a good performer like this one, I'd recommend them without a question. I mean, this definitely feel like I think these are like $80 or something like that, or $100. If you needed something that was actually a decently made hugger fan for an area with full ceilings, these are definitely a pretty good fan, but for that price. And it's from like, honestly, it's like one that you wouldn't have to really worry about the capacitors or starts going bad. Something that you tend to see happen often with Hampton Bays nowadays. Not as much of Hunter fans, they're more so just a lot slower than they should be. I mean, yeah, it's not as powerful as the Low Profile Plus in my kitchen, but it's definitely more powerful than the Coastal Breeze, which is a good thing since that's what this is replacing. It's not like a very heavy airflow, but it's definitely a nice, refreshing airflow underneath it. It actually kind of feels very relaxing though, like this type of airflow one. It's not like something that like really blows you away, but like it's very like a relaxing feeling from it. Now, for the ceilings in her kitchen were a little bit higher, obviously I'd put something else that went a bit faster, but I really don't want to put something that goes even faster than this in her kitchen. Like not even a Passport 2 or like a Summer Breeze. Like even those would be too fast for that. The ceiling height for that kitchen. It says she loves to cook and bake, so that's the reason why she has fan literally right above the stove. Yeah, I do know that like before, about 2 years ago, before she even put that new light on it, she was actually voicing her opinion about thinking about changing out the whole fan itself, the coastal breeze. So I've actually kind of been on a hunt to find a perfect fan to replace it with. I just kind of think of what would be a good one that was at least a decent fan, but not an extremely powerful one. And then when I saw this one on Marketplace, I was like, oh, perfect. I can definitely say it's almost about the air movement's actually pretty close to like your typical spinner motor hunters. That's a little bit less than normal. If they just went a tiny bit faster, it would definitely move about the same air as like any other spinner motor hunter. It's really not a bad air mover like the newer ones. And actually, it's a pretty decent performer, considering the price point of it, that is. Alright, I'll go ahead and shut off and do spin down. And then to show it on reverse. Oh yeah, I was actually kind of hesitant even putting this one because I really didn't want it to be something that was really slow. I've seen some videos of these older ones on YouTube, and I could definitely tell that they didn't go extremely sluggish like the newer ones, but they also didn't look like they went extremely fast like the other type of hunters I've seen. But it definitely does go more faster than I thought based on the videos I've seen of these. No, I'm really not sure if she's going to paint the blades yellow or not. I'd hope that she doesn't, only because I do think it would look nicer with actual wood blades and not just a painted one. But I don't think it honestly wouldn't look bad, but I just think the white wood would go nicer in that kitchen than yellow. But at the end of the day, it is her choice. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if she did, because I do know that yellow is her favorite color. And honestly, the Coastal Breeze, even though I wish she didn't do it on that Pacific fan, the combination actually does look pretty nice in the kitchen since the walls are yellow and such. I just think that this would really go well with her floor and such. Plus, I feel like just having this yellow too would just be a bit too much for her, considering how much stuff she has yellow in there. Alright, not sure what on reverse. But yeah, I definitely will get a video of it installed in my honest place and such. And honestly, I'll do a testing video of the Coastal Breeze once I clean it up quite a bit and restore it back to how it used to be and such, with a spotlight and everything. But yeah, this definitely will do my aunt good service. And I'm happy that I can give it to her, because she is kind of a bit tight on money and such. So this will definitely be a good way to help her out. My uncle My aunt's husband, he knows how to put up fans, but he's also at the point of, he's also at the age that it's probably not best that he doesn't. But yeah, she's always been an aunt that's been very kind to me since I was a kid. So it's definitely something I feel like she's been wanting to do for a while. Always a very thoughtful aunt, so I figured I'd pay her back for all the kindness she's shown me over the years. It's definitely a very quiet fan, which is nice. Good low profile, plus in my kitchen hums quite a bit on the high speed, whereas this one doesn't. It's literally dead silent. I honestly won't even mind having this in the kitchen over the low profile plus. I just like to look at the low profile plus more. And because it's more powerful. But like this definitely won't look bad in the kitchen either. So yeah, that'll be it for this video. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And stay tuned for more videos to come.